What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy, had a strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, and awesome. All right, everybody. So going over the November 24th, 2025 vision that the Lord had given me about the nations of the East. This is not fully covering this word, but only brushing up on just a piece of it, okay? As more things are to come. But before we jump into it, make sure 1 John 4:1, test every spirit as we live in very deceptive times. Hebrews 4:12, make sure you are using the word of God to discern the thoughts of every person, intent of every heart. Everything you hear and see, you should be using the word of God to discern what is happening, all right? As we live in very deceptive times. So let's jump into this November 24th, 2025 vision. So the Father showed me 3 nations and gave warning that there would be agreements not of him. This is not full coverage of the word, as there is more to come. So he told me that a shaking is coming to the Middle East, something he's been telling me for the past few weeks. The Father had shown me that vision in the days prior to releasing it. So the one with each nation being shown in front of me that he was referring to. So what I didn't know, that Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey were meeting in Cairo to discuss the second phase of the peace in the Middle East. So Israel and Hamas. All right, again, this is not full coverage of the word, but a mention of what the Father was pointing my attention to. So scripturally, the Father warned of what was to come to nations and even its leaders throughout the Old Testament. Remember, in Malachi, it is stated that the Lord never changes. So he is the same today as he was back then. All right. So just real quick here, going over the prior word next, and then showing you simply what's being stated in today's day, or what happened this week going on forward. So now going over the prior word and then the events themselves. All right, peace and blessings, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Recording November 24th, 2025 on a good old Monday. Word here / vision from the Lord. But before we get into that, 1 John 4:1, make sure you test every spirit, as it is very important in the days we live in today, all right? A lot of deception going around, so test every spirit, take all things you hear and see back to God in prayer. And also Hebrews 4:12, make sure we're using the word of God to discern the thoughts and intents of every heart. It is very important also in the days we live in. All right. So let's jump into this vision that the Father had given me and share his words. So this vision started off with me seeing 3 statues that went with a region of the map on the earth. So an area on the earth. The first one was Pharaoh, the statue of Pharaoh, which goes with Egypt. The second one looked as if it was to be a warrior or a ruler or a leader in or around the Middle Eastern area. The third one looked to be an African ruler, leader, or warrior, representing the area, the continent of Africa. Okay. And the Father had given on these words to me. He said, agreements, not of me, that will lead to my hand being shown. I'm going to read it one more time. Agreements, not of me, that will lead to my hand being shown. So then the Father begins to say to me, look for what comes from the east. Occurrence is not at normal pace. And then the Father began to show me the east. And what he was highlighting was not a small highlight. I could see the expansion of his words of things to come with the highlight he was showing me over that area, highlighting the east. And I hear the Father say, watch for what is to come. And in